4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
This is Movies First with Alex First.
A rags to riches tale about a hustler operating around the time of the Second World War. Nightmare Alley is ultimately about greed and comeuppance. In the opening of the film, we see a man who turns out to be Stanton Carlyle, played by Bradley Cooper, drag a body into a shallow grave in a rundown home and set fire to the place. Then he walks away. It's only later that we find out who that body is. In the meantime, a destitute Carlyle lands a job at a penny and dime carnival, where tomfoolery is the name of the game. Carlyle is a quick learner, and he lands on his feet when he befriends clairvoyant Zena the Seer, Toni Collette, and her husband Pete, David Strathairn. The latter perfected a system which fools all of the people all of the time, but his glory days are behind him as Pete has taken to the bottle in a big way. Carlyle also makes a play for another sideshow performer in the carnival, Molly, played by Rooney Mara. He even finds a way to heighten the tension in her electrifying act. Carlyle tells Molly she's better than what the carnival can offer, and although reluctant at first, she eventually buys what he's selling, that is, going out on their own. They do set out to make a go of it, and a couple of years later, the pair is doing very nicely. He's good at reading people, and the elegantly dressed duo is playing to sold-out shows. He's the star attraction, and she his sidekick. But he wants more, and that comes after a psychologist who takes his eye, Dr. Lilith Ritter, played by Cate Blanchett, tries to catch him out. Suddenly, he's performing his mentalism, as he calls it, in front of the rich and powerful. But Pete warned him that the book in which he chronicled his system, and which Carlyle took on board, can be misused, and those doing so will pay a heavy price. But the fact is, Carlyle did not listen.
Movies First with Alex First.
Co-writer with Kim Morgan and director Guillermo del Toro, who is responsible for The Shape of Water, has woven an intricate tale involving subterfuge and darkness. Nightmare Alley is based upon a novel of the same name by William Lindsay Gresham, published in 1946. The build-up is intriguing. I was fascinated as to how the various colourful characters that populate the carnival, of which there are several, fitted into the bigger picture. Next, I held my breath waiting for the axe to fall. For fall it most certainly would. Bradley Cooper is outstanding as a man of contradictions, too clever by halves. Toni Collette makes an immediate impression when she first arrives on the scene. Rooney Mara is convincing as the good-natured young woman whose head is turned by Carlyle's charms. Cate Blanchett smoulders and may as well be wearing a sign that reads "Danger" when she, as the femme fatale, enters the frame much later in the piece. It's the dance between Cooper and Blanchett that carries the most intrigue in a film that thrives on the art of illusion. The film has strong production values in its noir approach. The contrast between the grittiness of the carnival surrounds and Dr. Lilith Ritter's palatial Art Deco offices couldn't be greater. While Nightmare Alley maintained my interest throughout its 2.5 hours, I'm afraid I picked the ending, which I wished I hadn't. While fitting, I would have liked one final surprise. Also starring Willem Dafoe, Ron Perlman and Richard Jenkins, Nightmare Alley scores a 7.5 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First with Alex First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.